funny. I feel like a news presenter. I'd be terrible at presenting the news. Could you imagine? More dramatic than necessary. I'm calling this series Help Me Find a New Sewing Machine. I'm going to film a series of videos reviewing, well, it's not really a review because it's more for my personal preference and what I like, so it might not be the same for everybody, but it's my opinion, my views, and do with it what you will. Sorry if you are a Singer heavy duty lover. You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. I have come to detest this sewing machine. Now I know there are so many people who own a heavy duty Singer sewing machine. First of all, if that was a genuine heavy duty sewing machine, I should not be able to do that. It's not good enough as a heavy duty sewing machine. So I don't like this machine. I can't change the needle plate on there, which is something I've realised that I would like to be able to do in my sewing. So I want to be able to change it to a straight stitch needle plate, which basically means it doesn't have a really big needle hole. It's got like a small round needle hole, and you're less likely then to get fabric and stuff be pushed inside that needle hole. So that's something I'd like to change. I do honestly only really use this machine for straight stitch. I've never found it very good at doing buttonholes. I think the buttonholes on it are awful. It doesn't like them. It just, over time, now I've started to have a look at real sewing machines, expensive sewing machines, real high-end models. I've come to realise how, yes, they are budget friendly. Yes, they are great for, you know, beginners as such. So I've borrowed a sewing machine to try out, and I will do unboxing with you. I will do some explanations. I will go through the features. I will show you some projects. I will do a whole run through as much as I can of what it can do and what machine it is. On my journey to find my ultimate sewing machine, because my next purchase of a sewing machine, I want to be the one that's going to last me. Now I've outgrown a couple of sewing machines now. I've started with a really, really basic gifted brother sewing machine, which is absolutely fine for beginners because it's really simple, you can't go wrong. I would always recommend starting with a really basic sewing machine option when you start sewing. As you progress through your sewing journey, and if you do keep it up and you do get more and more and more advanced, some people don't, some people just stay with a simple machine, some people will just use it for fixing, for mending, for really basic tasks. Fine, stay with a low-end model, stay with something under the £200 mark. Fine. But if you progress more in your sewing journey, you will outgrow the features on a really basic machine and you will want it to do more things. I'm delving into the realm a lot more recently in the embroidery side of sewing. And so the machine that I'm going to be testing and looking at is a combination machine. So it's a combination of a sewing and embroidery machine. I would say it's probably an entry level of an embroidery machine and like a mid-level sewing machine combo. So you can't do huge, massive embroidery hoop designs on it. I think it's more than enough for somebody who's, again, delving into the realms of starting embroidery. I've chosen this particular model. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to get rid of this and let's get the other machine up here and then we can start doing the unboxing properly. Yes. This is the Brother Innovis F580. There are a few models in the F series. I think there's an F540 and an F560, but this is the F580. And I specifically picked this model out of the range because it's a sewing and embroidery. So the other models, one is just an embroidery, one is just a sewing model. This one is the combo of both. It's got wireless capability and you can connect that to the Brother Art Spira app, which you can do all of the embroidery designs on, and you can do image to embroidery, so it will convert an image into embroidery, which we're gonna do because I'm obsessed with it. I think it's an incredible function. I think the app is fantastic. There's loads of free designs on there, and then there's also a subscription side that you can do. I've paid for the subscription because I think it needs to have the full capability. It's very, very similar to Cricut, who do their subscription service for Cricut. I love the way that Brother have their machines. I love their start-stop functions. I love some of their models have their automatic needle threaders, which are fantastic. In terms of pricing, I personally think it's a fantastic price point. If you were to buy a mid-range sewing machine and a low-end embroidery machine, the cost of that, I personally think, would be more than this one. Manual, obs. Okay, so we have a pedal, power cable. You can use this machine without a foot pedal. It has the start-stop button on there, so you don't need to do that. You've got additional spool holder. Yes, you do get it. Now, on this machine, you get Brother's side cutter foot. So you can use this instead of an overlocker. It's never going to be the same as an overlocker. It's just to eliminate if you don't want to have an overlocker, or if you're scared of an overlocker or whatever else. You can use their side cutter over. It's not an overcast foot. They specifically call it a side cutter foot. This retails for about £40, but you get it in with this machine as well, which is fantastic. So you can, yeah, so you can finish all your edges. You get a walking foot. So walking foot is really, really useful for loads of different things. So a walking foot, again, I think this retails somewhere between £30 to £40 as well in there. So that's in with the machine, which is really cool. You get a knee lift with this model. Amazing. I'm definitely going to be trying out the knee lift. I think it's fab. And then here is a standard accessory kit, which is the sewing side. So you get cotton stops in there, extra needles, a twin needle. You get an adjustable zipper foot and a standard zipper foot with this model. You've got a Teflon foot in there. You've got a 1/4 inch foot by the looks of it. Don't quote me on that though. I would always check exactly from places. This is the, ooh, yes, that is the darning foot / free motion embroidery foot. Ooh, hardcover, always useful. Let's get the machine out first and then I'll get the embroidery unit out. Innovis F580, lovely. So yes, start, stop, back stitch, you've got needle down, you've got automatic trimmers, you've got your speed on here, you've got a drop-in bobbin system. This is the, that's the needle threader part that I was explaining that you can see on there. You've got a very, very easy interface. It's a colour screen as well, which is actually quite nice. And then everything in here. That's all your stitch options for your normal sewing. If you don't know much about the embroidery world of sewing, they are completely different threads, completely different needles, and there's a completely different process that you follow. It's a different setup completely. So in your bobbins, you have something called bobbin fill thread, which is embroidery thread for the bottoms. And you use an embroidery thread for the top, so you can't just use like standard sewing threads. So your knee lift goes in here, an accessories case in here with more accessories in. So you've got your button foot, you've got more bobbins, you've got a seam ripper in there. That is a zipper foot in there too. You've got an overcast foot. That's my standard foot on there. And then this is, oh, actually, sorry, apologies. That other one was the embroidery foot. This one is the free motion, and it's an open toe free motion foot. And then, yes, you do have a free arm on there to come off as well for sewing. It's not a humongous size, which I liked about it as well. It's got a decent amount of space here, not a huge, massive one like you can have on some machines, specifically you know, like if you're a quilter and you like a really nice big throat space. Oh, this is the embroidery unit. You've got another kit in here, which is some more tools. You've got a screwdriver, a guide, you've got a reel holder, a little pair of scissors. So you've got some other nice accessories in there. 2 hoop sizes. Lovely. So you've got 2 hoops and guides. So I can't remember exactly what the sizes are of these, but I will find them and then put them on the video when I edit them. Oh, nice. They give you in here some bobbin fill. So embroidery bobbin thread, you get a reel of that, which is the white version to get you started, which is really cool. And then your embroidery module. You cannot do embroidery without having the module on. The machine will only recognise that it's an embroidery, it's doing the embroidery side when the embroidery module is on. So basically you will, whoops, remove the free arm and you will add on, now there's a lever under here, which is the release for this. And there's also a tiny, tiny window. Oh dear. There's a little window in here that you need to open. There is a window that you open. You open the window and then you can slide. Eek. Slide the embroidery unit into place. Ta-da! Cool, I'm gonna get it set up properly and then let's get going. Okay, so the first thing I need to do to be able to turn this into the embroidery part is put on the embroidery foot. So that needs to go on. And I also need to change to some embroidery needles. So I'm going to be changing all of that over. The machine is off. And so now I'm going to do the needle first to get that out the way. So you get a nice tool in with everything as well to be able to use. So hold on to my needle. I'm going to undo the screw and take out this needle. So now that's out the way, I need to take off this whole shank. So this is the foot bar and I need to undo this screw to be able to drop off and take this whole presser foot and shank off of the machine. So that is out of the way. That can go away now. Bye-bye. Okay, I've read the instructions for this part and I'm going to share it because I think it's going to be useful. So this is the Q foot. So the Q embroidery foot. The embroidery foot bar, which is this, it's got like a little plastic thing on it. That has to sit above the needle clamp screw, which is this part in here. So while pressing the lever on embroidery foot with your finger, place the embroidery foot bar above the needle clamp screw. So press that in and then put that above the screw. And then that will fit against here. Then you will screw it in. So screw that in. Tighten it up with this. The instruction manual is incredibly easy to understand. It's really straightforward. The detail in there of how to do things is very, very easy. So that's another bonus for the brother machines. Okay, so I've got my Q embroidery foot on. I've changed to an embroidery needle. I'm now going to thread her up. So now I can turn it on. It would help if I turn my plug on. Duh. This is my bobbin fill embroidery bobbin. Remember, it's always going to go in as a P shape, so always make sure your bobbins are a P when they go in. And it's got a drop-in bobbin. And what's really nice about brother ones is you can pop that in, follow the little guides really easily, go all the way around, and there's a little blade here, and you can then just cut that off and you don't need to pull your bobbins up. Now you do if you're doing free motion embroidery, but that's a little bit of a different thing. But for normal sewing and for embroideries, just leave your bobbin thread in. You don't need to tamper with that now. Always use a cotton stop Make sure it is the correct size for your reel as well. So that looks like it is more of a medium size. So I'm going to pop my cotton stop on here. This stops it from moving around and make sure that it threads off nice and evenly. So get cotton stops and use them if you don't. It will help with tension issues, etc, etc. So brother, I've got a very simple and easy method like most normal machines. You've got numbers on here to help you so that you can follow it all the way round, up and down, and then this is the fun bit. Right, so here, so we're now on number 5 we've gone to. Into number 6, which is the part just above the needle. Make sure then your presser foot is down, and then I'm going to come across into number 7, cut the thread off at number 8, and then ka-chunk for number 9. Now, common issues, if you find that it's not lining up, make sure your presser foot is out of the way. Also, if you do a needle up or needle down, needle up, that will make sure that your needle is in the optimum position to accept the needle threader. So now to be able to get the machine to talk to my phone, which has got the Artspirit app on, I need to connect it to my internet. So if I go onto here, it is wireless is enabled, so that's fine. Now I want to do the wizard. Searching now for any internets, and then I'm just going to pop in my password. Okay, it's connected. Woohoo! Right, okay, so now I know that I'm on here. So we'll come back out of here, and now I'm going to have a little look at the app. So I'm going to do some screen recording, and I'm going to record doing the Artspirit app, because then what will happen is we will be able to go into this little pocket, which is where you've got all your memory. So you've got computer memory, oh sorry, machine memory, you've got the USB memory stick, which is on the side here, you've got wireless if you were just sending it straight from a computer, and then the cloud, which is where it goes, excuse me, if you use the Artspirit app. This is the app, and it's used for embroidery and cutting machines with Brother. So you need to register your machine against the app so that they can talk to each other. And then you've got all of your designs on here, new ones that are free, ones that are paid for, and then you can create your own. I have pre-created this little one to do, which the heart leaves was already on there. The lettering I have added in myself. You can pick all different sorts of things, add in whatever personalised wording you want to. There's lots of different fonts to choose from. You can move it around on the canvas to be where you want it to be. Again, some free and some paid for fonts. But then you just need to save it after you've finished. Oh, select which hoop size you're going to be using as well. And then, yeah, save it. And then you just need to transfer that to the machine. And then once that is sent, everything else is then done on the machine afterwards. We linked it in here, and now my design has come up in the little cloud pocket. So I'm going to click on that and say set. So now that design has gone onto my little canvas here. So I could move it around if I wanted to, I could change stuff on there, but because I've done the design already, I know that that's exactly how I want it to be. Now it's telling me that I can't do it on these small hoop size options because of how big the design is. So I can only do it on this size. I could do it on a magnetic hoop, which is that one, but I just want to do it on this size of a hoop. So now I need to get all of my hoops set up with my fabric so that then it can start stitching it out on there. So let's have a little look at hooping what I'm going to stitch on. I've got my hoop set. I've got some tearaway stabiliser, and I'm going to use just some plain calico because it's going to behave and be very, very easy to do this on. And then I'm going to place both of these here, place this in there. That should be enough. But tighten it up a little bit more. And I think I'm good to go. I'm going to attach my frame, which is 2 bolts on the side. So it's just gonna, oops. attach in here. Edit end, because I don't want to do any more editing. I don't want to move it around. I'm happy with where it is. Actually, I'm going to do a trace to make sure that this is going to trace. So it's just going to do an outline of where the design's going to go to make sure I've got the right hoop size, I've got right material size, etc. So we are absolutely fine. Perfect. Cool. Engage for embroidery and off we go. Okay, so it's finished that first section and now it's telling me that I need to change over to now be on the white thread colour. So I just need to take this one out, re-thread it up again, and then it will carry on doing the next colour. It's finished! Oh my god, it's so cute! And it's mesmerising to watch. Okay, anywho, boop, done. Now we can take it off! Okay, so I've been doing loads of bits today. I've finished the embroidery. I've got to go onto the sewing side of this part of the project for this video, but I'm still working and going through all the embroidery options first so that I can remove that part and then turn it just into the sewing machine, and then I can finish this. But yes, it came out absolutely beautiful, exactly how I wanted it, which is now going to be with my little toadstool and leaf themed panel, and it's going to be like a little wall hanging. So that's nearly finished. The embroidery part's done. I just need to do like a satin stitch finish and then turn it into like the little hanging plaque. So that's cool. I then wanted to try, one of the things I really wanted to try on the embroidery function is making cute little patches and badges. So I did these tiny, oh, little cute patches. Again, just from the Art Spirit app. These were just some of the designs that were on there. So I've got like a cute little froggy, and then it's a little penguin in a jumper, and they are adorable. They were just straight onto fleece, which is so easy to embroider. So you just need a stabilizer, then a layer of fleece, and then you can go straight on with your little design. And then you just cut all the way around, as close to sort of like the outline stitches as you can, but not through them, otherwise it will just unravel all the stitches. And then you just put like a fusible, I can't remember exactly what one it is, but I'll have a little look and I'll put it in. But it's like a double-sided fusing on here so that you can then pop it onto, I don't know, anything you want, bags, jackets, little pouches, whatever. But so cute. I would make so many patches. There's loads of different designs on the app as well, which is really cool. You could definitely make your own ones in the design function as well on there. So the patch making for me is fabulous. But the reason why I've jumped back onto sort of filming something a little bit here is because I wasn't sure whether this machine had this function or not. And so I was playing bobbin roulette. I've also got a bit cocky and I'm doing, this is a t-shirt on a flatbed. Now, this is one of the things when you have a flatbed embroidery machine, is that it's a bit trickier when you've got items that you want to put an embroidery on that are double layered. So things like t-shirts or like tote bags, for example, because you couldn't just lay the tote bag on with both layers in the hoop and then embroider on, because it would go all the way through to both parts. So you'd need to separate them. A little bit fiddlier with something like a tote bag because you can't really kind of get inside and turn it out, but you can do that with a t-shirt. And my son wanted a little one of his computer game characters, which I used on the app again. I found an image, quite a clear image of what he wanted, the little character. It's a Pikmin, if you were interested. So he wanted a Pikmin turned into an embroidery for his t-shirt. So I had the file, I had to then change the file into an SVG file, which was quite simple to do. I think you can do it from PNG files as well, actually, which are even more common. And then it turns it from an image into embroidery stitches. So it's done all of that for me. I've not had to do PE Design 11. I've not had to digitize it and spend hours sort of finalizing it. It's simply just changed it over from an image into an embroidery. And so I'm just doing that because it's on a t-shirt as well. I've got bottom stabilizer, I've got the t-shirt, and then I have some wash away stabilizer on the top just to try and give it an extra little layer, because it can be a little bit trickier doing stretchy fabrics or t-shirt materials. So that's going fine. But yes, I was playing bobbin roulette, because I couldn't remember with this particular model whether it has the bobbin sensor to tell you when your bobbin thread is running low. And it does. So that's fantastic. And I'm going to fill the bobbin back up, and then I'm going to put my design back in. And then what I will need to do is just go back a couple of, but I'll probably go back maybe like 10 stitches. So this is the thing with embroidery machines as well, which is really clever, is if you need to backtrack a tiny bit, if something's happened, like threads come loose or there's been an issue or you've had to do your bobbin, you can go back you can go back up to hundreds of stitches, because embroidery machines do thousands of stitches for most designs. So you can go back 100 stitches, 200 stitches, and you can see that, and then you can start it back again where you left off after you've sorted out what you need to do. Here's how it came out. My son absolutely loves it. I have inadvertently, which is a thing, it can happen, ended up with something called hoop burn, which is where you can see the edge of the hoop on the garment. But it was just this is an old t-shirt of his anyway. I just said, if you want something, let me have a go at doing it. So yes, we have a cute little Pikmin t-shirt. Now, in terms of the digitizing of how that has come out, no, it is not professional, digitized, using fancy software level of embroidery. Is it absolutely acceptable and cute enough to have as a home embroiderer who's doing it for their own personal enjoyment? Absolutely, it's super cute. And son is very, very happy. He's desperate to put it on. I told him he had to wait until I'd finished it, but now he can have it. So I'm just going to clear everything on here. Yes, I'm deleted with that. Always want to turn your machine off when you're changing between the two. Never carry your machine with the embroidery module on it. You can break the port and the join of where it is and bend any parts of the machine, because it's obviously quite long when it's all together. So just remember to try and do that. I'll put the free arm unit back on again just to remind myself that it is in normal sewing mode. We're going to put the normal shank and standard presser foot back on. Oh, hang on. Do you know what I've got to do? Close the window. Oh, close the window. It's a completely different screen now, so it knows that is not in embroidery mode. So you can't get it wrong, because it's not going to give you any embroidery options without having the unit put in. So don't be scared, it's absolutely safe. So yeah, so now I'm on sewing mode and I'm just about to do winding a bobbin. And I know that because it's orange here, so that means it knows that it's going to be doing bobbin threading. I'll speed it up a bit, speed it up, speed it up. So this whole time I haven't put on the foot pedal, and I'm debating whether to do it. I'm very, very attached to a foot pedal, and when we talk to a lot of people at work about how they can have start-stop function, they don't need to put a foot pedal in, they can just press the buttons and whatever else, it horrifies some people. Oh, but what do you mean? I like my foot pedal, and I totally agree. I really do like a foot pedal. But if you wanted to do a little project like what I'm doing now, I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with not using the foot pedal. Now, shall I film it from the other side? Yes. So this is your start-stop, this is your reverse, This is your needle down. These are your trimmers. This is your speed. Length, 2.5. I'm gonna go to 3.5 because I just want it to be a basting stitch. Tension's on 4, absolutely fine. Width, 3.5. I'm guessing because that's how it's got the stitch to go over to the middle, but whatever. It's a straight stitch, that's all it's gonna do. It's on stitch number 4. Okay, cool, right, so needle down. Oh, the control that you can have by just having that on the slow is pretty good. I can move around, pivot around if I wanted to, absolutely fine, that's cool, okay. You can be so precise. It is weird getting used to the stop and start though. Very mindful. It's got a lovely, nice feed through with those feed dogs. I can feel how nice they sort of pull everything through evenly. Right, needle up, trimmers. That is magic, I love that. Now we want to work out a nice satin stitch. So it's going to be a really, really tight zigzag. Let's just go in and change some of the details. So length, oh, look at that. I can go right down. 0.4, lovely. Oh, it's all the way up to 7. So it's got a 7mm stitch width, which is really nice for massive zigzags. And it means that decorative stitches and stuff that are on the machine are gonna be like slightly wider. So that these decorative ones and stuff, they're gonna be like wider stitches, which is really nice. I've literally just looked up and completely forgotten that obviously all of that is there as well. What an idiot. And I'm just gonna go for it. I can't be bothered to mess about. Let's just see how it goes. Oh yeah, probably should have interfaced my backing fabric because it's gonna slightly distort this. Okay. Ta-da! It did it. It did it well enough. Oh, my corners are a bit funny and I certainly did not pay as much attention as I should have, and it's slightly hairy. An overview on the Brother F580 combination machine, sewing and embroidery. It's not the machine for me. I've realised having demoed it now and used it, I will outgrow its ability to do embroidery, and I think personally I would prefer to have a separate machine. I think a machine for sewing and a machine for embroidery is the way for me to go, not a combination machine. I think it's really good if you're limited on space and you want to dabble in a bit of both. Maybe you're more of a hobbyist, you're only like a weekend sewer, or you just do it for yourself or for making gifts, etc. Which most home sewers are, let's be realistic, that's what we all just love doing. We don't like stress. We want to just do nice fun projects. But this is a fabulous machine to give you the ability to do really easy embroidery options. I think is great. I do think that you would need to look at getting a small hoop. The hoops that you get with it are more than adequate. I have personally found now and realised that a smaller hoop is the way to go because you waste a lot less materials. So your stabilisers and things like that, you're going to waste a lot less for doing small pieces. So fabulous machine, not for me. Next time round, I think I'm going to try out, first things first, I'm going to be looking for a sewing machine. I love the embroidery. I definitely am going to do the embroidery. On my list to try, however, is one of the FAF embroidery machines because some of the designs that they have on them, I absolutely love. I've pre-seen some designs that the embroidery machines for FAF have, and I'm obsessed. You could call them a little bit more grown up. Like, I think the designs on the FAF embroidery machines are a little bit more grown up. My next option is going to be trying out a different type of sewing machine. And I think I'm going to have a look at a Benina. I would really, really like one. If you are someone who prefers it really, really simple, likes a really user-friendly interface and instructions and dials, etc., Brothers are absolutely the way to go, in my opinion. They are so user-friendly. So if you don't want anything overly complicated, always pick a brother model. Didn't get a chance to do like a full proper project on this. I got too sidetracked and too obsessed with the embroidery. Some little things to think about in terms of this particular model. One thing I missed, which I have used on other models higher up the range in the embroidery realm of brother machines, is the ability that when it's finished doing its embroidery, like when it's finished for like a colour change and things like that, it raises the foot up automatically. This was manual. The only thing that was a little bit that I thought I would like as a feature. That's the only thing. Everything else about it is absolutely fantastic. The Wi-Fi capability, linking to the app was so easy. I highly recommend that. I think it's fabulous. If you have any questions about this model, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.